Okay, call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. All is present. Any conflict of interest out of the agenda for anybody?
There could be for me, a perceived conflict of interest. Just with number 2, with the request from the museum, because I am one of the coordinators for that project, I'll just refrain from voting on that one.
Yes, you do. You cannot abstain from voting. You either have to leave the room or not be here. You're not allowed to abstain.
So I can leave then?
Yeah. Just for a few minutes.
Yep, not a problem.
Okay, adoption of the, sorry. Oh yeah, the adoption of the agenda.
I'll do that.
Andre? Oh, sorry. Thought everybody had those.
Well, they do, but we still need a resolution to
Okay.
have.
We have 3 additions that we have to add. One is going to be 10.5 Thompson Lake report. And the other one will be 15.3, the agreement for liability at the convent. And 15.4 is safe funds, I think it's called, to do with COVID. Those are the 3 new ones. So, Andre, motion with the amendments. Seconder, Mr. Ray. All in favor? Carried. Okay, minutes of the last meeting. Need a motion to accept minutes. Paul, and a seconder, Teresa. Discussion. Everybody's happy? All in favor? Carried. Go down to 8.1, Chamber of Commerce, Belle Plaine sign. Need a motion to receive and file. Sam? Seconder, Deanna. Any discussion on it?
We were looking into some other.
I believe that will be coming
Okay.
down the road here.
Okay.
Yeah, probably next meeting, you think?
Actually, I have some information coming to the Public Works meeting,
Okay, and then,
and then
It'll be the
whatever
next
the Public Works says, it'll come forward, yeah.
okay.
Sounds good.
All right, all in favor to receive and file? Carried. 8.2 is EDO position. We're basically looking for a receive and file on this one. Ray, seconder Andre. Any discussion on it, which I believe is going to happen down the road here.
Like how far down the road?
Well, we might get to the budget, or we got to hire somebody else first and then proceed.
Yeah, I think once we look at the budget, see if we can pull it.
Well, no, it's already in the budget, so we can hire. So,
I want to get to it sooner rather than later, but I understand that we have to have the budget ready, so, you know, I get that. But as far as the museum goes, the EDO position was, it takes a lot of time and effort for those grants. I know that because I tried for one, and it takes weeks. And when, in 2000, our EDO got the museum $51,000 in grants, and that's a huge chunk. And it's not something that we have the skills or the time for as volunteers.
I'm not talking out of turn, it's in budget already as a position. It's just that we wanted to fill the assistant administrator's job. And that should come fairly quickly. I mean, you know how things throw us upside down sometimes. So, okay. All right, receive and file is carried. All in favor, sorry. 8.3, Saskatchewan Crime Stoppers. This is basically just to show us what we did and what we haven't done. Motion, sorry, to get it on the table. Ray, seconder Sam. Discussion.
Go ahead and tell us what you were saying. It's
Well,
just-
it's showing us a history, like what we gave in the past, but we quit giving in 19 and 20. So do we want to just leave it alone, or do we want to put money into it?
Motion that we pay the back issue and the present.
Oh. Okay.
Why?
I would
Because
recommend,
this is a benefit to the communities.
No, this is Saskatchewan crime stoppers. This is,
We had to pay 2019 and 2020.
Yeah, but this helps the cities a lot, Ray. I mean, if we, my opinion is if we put money into policing, we put it right into our police force here.
Well, how much
I mean,
is,
I'm just saying that.
how much is it?
200 bucks. Last was.
Oh, you don't have it? Yeah, it's just 200.
Yeah, I do, sorry, I didn't ask that little.
I think the Crime Stoppers is a huge benefit to our, to our community. And they do.
But right now, the motion's on the table that you would pay this year
2019 and 20 and 21.
so that's $600.
Hopefully, they don't expect that every year then.
Well, after that, it'd be
Yeah.
Why wouldn't it be just as good to put it in for this year if we want to get that in, right?
2021. Okay, I'll move 2021.
Okay, all right. But we don't have to amend that, do we? We haven't.
It's his motion,
Yeah,
so
so
he's,
he
yeah,
just, we'll pay $200 for 2021.
2021.
And seconder to that motion on it.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
We have to do this year.
Okay. Thompson, 9.1 is Thompson Lake membership. And basically, I'm looking for a motion to receive and file. Paul, seconder, Ray, discussion. Basically, it's just telling us what's going on. All in favor? Carried.
You must be enjoying that, Paul. The Thompson Lake.
Well, it's very eye-opening.
You're doing a lot of stuff?
You have to. And that's going to be something we'll have to discuss when we get to our report here.
Okay, 9.2 is the annual notice to consumers for Sask Water. Need a motion for receive and file. Sam, seconder,
Indiana.
Deanna. Any discussion? These come all the time.
Just to notify, a copy of this has been posted on the bulletin board in the town office, in case any consumers want to look at it.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, the SRC report, 10.1. I need a receive and file motion from Sam
Yes.
and a seconder from Deanna. Discussion, if any. So these questions were basically answered. You guys got something?
Yeah, Carol gave us some answers that we'll take back to the next meeting.
Okay. Anything else to add? Sam?
What? No.
All in favor? Carried. Okay, 10.2 is Southwest Transportation Report. Motion to receive and file. Andre, a seconder. Ray. Any discussion on it?
I talked to Louis about it. It was a really good meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't get in that day. I was trying to get through all these Zoom things, but they do discuss a lot of great stuff. And this report's worth reading for sure. And I think we got the answer to First Avenue, like it's a down the road thing. We have to get our part done first, but I think that's, everybody's sure that's, we're in the loop. And Louis told me he's coming up for, is he coming up for nomination soon? I think he is,
Nomination for what?
to be on that board. We'll know when it happens, but it is coming up. I
Like,
don't know if
do we appoint him, is what we do, right?
We appointed,
Yeah.
I know he hopes to stay on.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody wants him to.
Yeah. He takes it very serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Ten dot three is museum AGM minutes. Motion to receive and file by Teresa, seconder Deanna. Discussion. None?
Just the Chase of the Ace, it doesn't show how much has the Chase of the Ace accumulated so far.
Let's go to the next
Page?
report, and I think it's like 17,000. Yes, 17,500 is what our grant was approved.
That was the grant approved.
And we have enough to match that.
For the elevator,
Yeah,
which only does 20 feet.
yeah.
And that comes out of the Chase of the Ace?
Yep.
Okay? Okay, all in favor? Carried. Okay, museum minutes, 10.4. Need a motion for receive and file. Sam, and seconder. Teresa, any discussion on that one?
They need members, right?
Pardon?
They need more members, right?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
We would love more members.
How do we have to maybe try to encourage people to get involved?
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are the current members right now?
Toes and Darcy, Alvin, myself, and Tracy Lee. Tracy Lee is one of the new
Are we
residents.
talking museum or
Yeah, museum.
The museum.
Oh, no, that wasn't what I was asking, sorry.
Sorry.
I was asking another question.
What was the other question?
What other members, like Toes has just resigned from that, what other members are on KGB?
Oh,
You're changing the topic.
Okay, sorry, I'll let you finish. No, it's in here.
Not for the museum, but like further down it is, yeah.
We'll talk
I
about
think
that
that's under
further.
the CAO report,
Yes.
which
Oh,
is
correct.
next.
Oh, sorry, I thought we were.
Yes,
there.
correct.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. Sorry.
So John Hammond is.
Put the camera back.
He wants to be, and he wants to do stories.
Yeah.
And he's ready to come, and then something happens, and so we're hoping he still comes on.
He's a busy guy.
Yeah.
After all.
Yeah.
It's been my experience that anybody who's retired is very, very busy.
All in favor? Carried. Okay. 10.5 is the Thompson Lake Regional Park. Need a motion to receive and file, will be Paul. Okay with that?
Yep.
Seconder, Sam? Any discussion on it?
I'm just going to add that, you see my comment at the beginning there, we should be more proactive at the park. If you look historically, I mean, Gravelbourg was very instrumental in getting the park started to begin with. I think over the years, we've kind of lost sight the importance of the park. And I'm going to suggest we should get more involved with them. For instance, they're looking at investments in playgrounds, things of that nature. And if we have an EDO that could do some research and get grants, we could probably contribute.
Now, why would you bring that to me? We know where we're going.
Well, I know, but anyway, no, what I'm saying is that the park, we're not visible enough in that park right now, and they're desperate for having communities and municipalities to help them, because they need that support, they need that help. It's a park that maxes out during the summer, and if we did such a thing as provide funding to have one of their playgrounds upgraded, and we had a sign in there that said, from the community of Gravelbourg. It's just a question that we have to get more involved with that park. It's a very important, as well as Shamrock Park for that matter, when I talk about parks. But from what I could gather there, we really haven't been participating in any way. And I think we have to really think about this and start being more proactive.
One of the things we discussed a couple weeks ago, I think, was the possibility of having like a bike path or something between Gravelbourg and the park. And there was going to be discussion with the transportation department. Did that happen?
I don't remember that, but
I don't-
those are good ideas. I mean, sure, but getting involved in the park itself directly, I think we have to be a little bit more proactive and more visible, because we really haven't been.
A lot of business comes out of it.
And a lot of it,
Yeah.
that's an extension of the town, it's like a suburb of the town.
Yeah.
All our businesses benefit enormously,
Yeah.
so I think we have to give back. We have to start being more visible, that's all. And as we go along with the year, I'm learning more and more about it, all the workings of the park. It's massive. The infrastructure there is probably as big as, if not a bigger area than even Gravelbourg. And
So Paul, is it something like maybe putting a report together, like what maybe the town can do, and then when we look at our budget to see what we can put in towards that?
And, yeah, that was one of the discussions I had with the board and management, and they were saying, they brought up the idea of the park, for instance.
Mhm.
They were saying, we've got to invest in infrastructure because the stuff is getting old, it's outdated. And they were saying just something like that would be a great step forward. And it makes them not feel so isolated, management over there. So, yeah, that's basically where we're going, that's where I'm going with that.
Okay.
Can we apply for a grant on behalf of Thompson Lake?
Sure, why not, if it's our park, why not?
Okay.
Is it our park?
Well, yeah, we'll make it our park. We're a member of the park.
I think it would have to be, yeah,
You know,
I
but
think
the grant-
us as the municipality
Yeah.
could have a grant going to somebody else. It would
Okay,
have
well,
to
we
be a
can-
group project.
It depends on how you make the applications and what grants are available. I mean, you can do anything you want with that.
Yeah, there are a number of grants available for regional
Sure.
initiatives, and that would fall straight
Yeah, I mean,
into it.
it's
Yeah.
just, and if we can, even just a small contribution where we could help them pay off.
But on the regional side, the application could be signed by 2 or 3 RMs, a couple of towns.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Yes.
more.
Even the park itself, right?
Yes,
But yeah, I also think like as we look at investing there to also consider Shamrock Park too.
Well, yeah, I mean, both parks are very
Because they're
important.
both,
They're very important, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to be proactive, and no question about it.
I think Shamrock Park just put in a new play area last year, it was $20,000, I think.
playground equipment,
Yeah.
one piece is easily 20, 25,000.
Yeah.
It is not inexpensive at all, it's a very expensive thing.
Yeah, the regulations are very strict now, so
Yes.
you really gotta follow the guidelines pretty
You
quick.
But I think that's what
the old
it's
style, the old style swings, they got double seat belts on them now.
Oh.
I'm just.
So what's the old times for it?
But I think that's a good reason for having you on the board, Paul, because you
Yeah.
really can represent us well there.
Yeah, they get, I mean, they're happy about that, like, they're trying to make sure that the municipalities that are involved get proactive, not just show up and walk away.
Yeah.
They want, they need help, they need help.
Because Gravelbourg was very central to starting that.
Well,
Remember when they had the big
The
celebration?
and Les Coop were the two of the first board members, and Leo Pisha was the first president.
He was.
So, you know, when you look at that historically, this town was very involved with it. And as you said, it's economically, it's a big
Oh,
plus
yeah,
for this
sure.
community as well as the flesh.
Yeah.
So we want to, we have to start
But
being.
if we're talking money though, we have to know way in advance on budget.
Oh, yes, yes, I'm aware of
But
that.
if we talk about, I mean, I don't know if our grader could go out there and grade the streets once a year to help them out, or that type of stuff. That's the easier part of doing things. But when it talks dollars, that's, you just don't go ahead and do it.
And, you know, they're tapping into the same water system, from South Florida,
Yeah.
plant here.
They
So we're-
determine that?
So we've got connections there, and, you know, in terms of the water bill, how that all works, we kind of have to get together with that.
Yeah.
To make sure that that's,
Did they have their meeting this South Florida?
not yet.
Okay.
You know, it got canceled, and, I'm hoping that information will come down sometime.
Yeah. Alrighty, all in favor? Carried. Okay, 11.1 is the CAO report for May the 4th. Looking for a motion to receive and file. Andre, seconded by Sam.
I was just gonna do.
Any discussion?
This is where I was gonna ask my question.
Yeah.
Is that okay, Paul? Okay, sorry. I just wondered who else was on the committee. Jules has resigned, I wondered who else is on that KGB committee.
So Teresa, she's on there, but
Okay.
she's never been to a meeting yet.
Okay,
Isabel was on it. Shani,
Woodrow?
Woodrow, she was on it. Susie Martin was on it.
Dustin was on there too, was he?
Dustin, yeah.
Marie
Maria Lepage was on it. Joan Raphael, she was on it. Or they're still on it, I guess. Joan. Grace Joan.
Oh.
oh, Louise John, oh, sorry.
Okay.
She's a kid.
He is about that.
What did you say?
So you got those names, because I guess they haven't had a meeting this year?
No, they haven't. Toast tried to call a meeting, and as far as I know, she got one response from one person who said they were available for just half an hour. And it
Oh,
was-
yeah, and there was also Ray Alfori, and he couldn't make it. So he hasn't been on meetings for a long, long time.
So far this year, there has not been a Keep Gravelbourg Beautiful
And I
meeting.
think Dustin has gotten trees through the grant, which was to do with the KGB, does that sound right?
Well, last year, we had a few meetings and we had a project. And Dustin was in charge of the solar lights, so we're still waiting for it. Apparently we bought it right away, but there's no time to put it up. And so I'm getting frustrated, with with the whole group, so that's why. And I have enough, my hands full with museum right now, so that's why I said no more.
Now, who turned to that lady and got her going?
I only have one question.
Okay. Everybody okay with what's on the table there?
If I'd like to add, because I've seen that the museum needs membership, and the Keep Gravelbourg Beautiful seems to need some membership, I've talked to Carly, and we're gonna try and put together at least something like all the community groups, because there could be new people in town that are interested in volunteering, but if they don't know where to go to find out, then they're not going to be volunteering. People volunteer for things they're passionate about. So we're gonna we're gonna look at the current list of organizations we have, try to make sure it's updated with contact information. and give it some play out there to see if we can't get new people involved in volunteering and help our organizations get volunteers. So that's something that I put on our plate.
When we were living in Dauphin, every year, now we can't do this because of COVID, but they would have a day in the right there, they would have all the volunteer organizations kind of
Like
hyping
a
it up, and then
recruitment.
people could go around and sign up.
Mhm.
I don't know how to do that.
I've seen them also very similar to that with the Volunteer Appreciation Day, where all the groups get together and they have like a potluck or whatever for all the volunteers.
Yes.
But that's a wonderful idea, Carol. It would have really helped me out when I first moved to this town, because I didn't have a clue.
Mhm.
And you try, volunteering for something, and they never call you back or whatever. And so I think it would be nice to be able to really throw your hat in the ring and say, look it, I'm here, use me.
Mhm. Well, we just thought, maybe it just needs some airplay,
Yep,
you
I
know?
agree.
What we should do.
Yeah,
That was your last paragraph, right?
pretty much.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, and just a note, I wanted to inform council. I got a little bit of a thrill last week when I got a random phone call from George Cuff.
Who is that?
Really?
Yes.
Governance?
Yeah.
Governance?
And we just talked back and forth. There was no reason for his call specific. And he offered me his resources, if I need to phone him or email him and ask him questions or look for forms. So somebody in my position to just talk to George Cuff like that, it was a little bit exciting.
I want to know more about the thrill.
Well, it was just a phone call.
That's good.
Well, guest speaker.
Well, no, he would charge for that sort of
Oh, well,
thing. If we're hiring him for something, that's one thing.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. 13 is accounts for approval. That would be the batch 2021-27. Motion to approve the accounts. Andre, seconder, Ray, discussion.
Yeah, for 18,301
I had the same one circled.
for the advertising, great. It's a high price, but what do we get for that?
Okay, do you get
Do we get a?
Now, this is hard copy in a magazine, and it's been ongoing for several years. Our EDO set it up. I wasn't about to let it just go away, so we renewed it. I can bring you more information for it, and yes, it's expensive, but it is hard copy. I'm thinking it's a Tourism Saskatchewan
I've seen it.
magazine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, I didn't want to let it drop.
So is it just a little bit more than advertising, like there's actually information about Gravelbourg that's in there? or-
I'll have to get the app, I'll bring it to, I'll send it out, yeah.
It's an advertisement.
Yes, it is, it's either, it's tour, I believe it's a Tourism Saskatchewan magazine,
Okay.
but I will confirm.
Yeah.
Oh, that was young and old.
I also make a note on 18315. I spoke to Mayor Stuffiak about this, I believe, on one occasion. There could be a perceived conflict of interest, and I think we have to be more cognizant of that.
That electrician is Dustin's brother-in-law.
Yeah,
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
family, and
Okay.
we don't want somebody coming out to us and yelling.
You're getting along?
And what have you.
Are they getting along?
Did we not do a tender each year for
No, not the
electrician,
electrician.
plumber, and stuff like that? That we just-
We don't
No, we've never done
No,
that.
no, it's just to get things done. He actually will phone 2 or 3 of them and say, give me a price, and then nobody does, but he does. So. but
So
I
it's
would say
just because we can't get.
The problem is, though, the perceived conflict of interest, that is his brother-in-law.
Well, it is, that's family, so we have to be careful, we do have to be
Yeah.
And I did not know.
But yeah, as long as it's disclosed that that's what it is.
I just don't want it to be people starting to come back and us saying, oh yeah, okay, this is how these guys work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Let's
we
make
don't need
sure,
that.
and if it goes through your office, at least you can verify it.
Okay,
That type
Yeah.
of thing.
thank you.
Just a note,
Anything else? All in favor? Carried. Okay, RFD for the Royal Canadian Legion Partnership. That's a 14-1. Okay, I'm looking for a motion from somebody, which is the administration's recommendation of alternative 1.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, what?
You gotta get on the table, right?
Huh?
Or put it on the table.
Okay. Are you seconding it?
No, I'm not.
I'll second.
Okay, seconded. Discussion. Did you read the back part, the other page? Oh,
Yeah.
we're in the discussion stage.
So now you can.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't agree in this. I think we can't be setting up agreements with anybody who wants to come and grab a park, grab a playground, grab a ballpark. We have bylaws, we have problems, we have responsibilities. That is still our park. And we don't need an agreement. If somebody wants to come to any park or any part of this town and wants to make an improvement, come to town council. If we like it, we'll say yes. If we don't, we'll say no. Simple as that. Getting into agreements, that's a whole other ball of wax. That's ridiculous.
Well, my understanding was when this was presented by the delegation, is the council wanted an agreement.
Yeah.
No, the council said, bring an agreement and we'll think about it. That's what it was. And I don't believe we have to start getting into agreements or all these type of things. That doesn't make any sense, really. It's still our park. And, you know, just, if you want to make a change, bring it to us, we'll decide.
Well, they
I don't think administration has to start writing agreements with the groups.
Yet I feel that it's an agreement, not a contract.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
But they may need it for the purposes of getting their grants.
No, they don't. They have to specify that, and I thought the grants would work that way. If they're a Legion and they're applying for a grant, it's a Legion grant, they do what they want, they have to have the criteria specifically stated, and they'll go with that. This Legion, and one of the members that is now a member of that Legion, was shut down 15 years ago, just because they felt like shutting it down. You know, these clubs come and go, and this thing could happen again. And I don't think we need agreement. I mean, they want a plan, bring us a plan, we'll decide. I mean, we're the council, we have to run the park anyway. So I find the agreement a waste of time.
But I guess what I look at too, though, is if they'll come at the beginning of the year, this is what we have planned, so then that's what I don't mind about the whole thing, is that it's split up.
Yeah, right. We don't need a signed agreement with them.
I think the agreement is helpful for the town because of the liability issues.
We still run the park, it's still our park.
I understand
Well, what I
that.
understand in here is